All right, excellent. Well, thank you guys. Thank you all, everybody, for logging in today on this Tuesday afternoon. This is Leveraging Market Stats to Boost Your Business series. We do this every single month, right at Stats Day, News Release Day. And we are releasing official statistics for the South Florida real estate market to the media today. But we also do this webinar in terms of, helping our members find out what is exactly happening in the market now and where the market is going to. So you're going to see a lot of stats, official statistics. And we've been doing this program for about 5 years. We haven't missed a month. And the reason it's been successful is just the great leaders that we have here at the Miami Association. And we have one of our best leaders. She was our 2023 YPN Miami president. And we're so fortunate to have her here today. Katherine, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for the amazing intro. And we're lucky to have you and all the amazing staff at the association, of course, always giving us the best information, supporting all of us.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So let's get off to one of the most important questions, I think, is, say there's a lot of new members that are logging in now. We're also live on social media. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook. One of the questions is, you're starting out as a realtor. Why is it important to know these stats? Why is it important to tell Miami's story?
It's extremely important. Knowing your numbers is essential to our business. You have to know your average prices, absorption rates, days on the market, current appreciation. Buyers and sellers want to hear this. They want to see numbers when you're sitting down and discussing these things with us. And of course, you need to know Miami. You need to know its history, what makes it so special, because we truly do have it all. We have it all. Our beaches, weather, culinary skiing, scene. We're a huge economic hub, which we'll touch on later. But more importantly, we're extremely diverse, and that goes back to the history, and we're still seeing that to today.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many factors that make Miami different from other metros. So, okay, so let's take a look at our agenda for today. Going over June 2024 statistics, brand new, being released to the media today. And of course, we're going to hear from Katherine, and we got some tools and resources at the end. Again, like I said, we've been doing this every single month. We have the rest of the year already planned out. Another great leader is coming on next month, Anna Bozovic with her analytics, which will be another great session. So you can register right now for that. One of the big questions we always get is this being recorded? Yes. Can I have this PowerPoint? Yes, you can. If you could go ahead and write your email in the chat, whether you're on the Zoom, type in your email. Afterwards, I'll collect them all and I will send that to you later today, this entire PowerPoint. Also, if you're on LinkedIn, I know a lot of people follow us on LinkedIn, so that'd be great. We'll get you that PowerPoint. And so basically, if you only could remember one website, only one website, remember this one, sfmarketintel.com. That's where we're going to put all of our graphics, our videos, our market reports. We try to put everything there on that one site to make it easy, sfmarketintel.com. All right, so Katherine, let's go over. I'm going to go through our three counties here, and then I'll ask you a question at the end. So these are some of the stats indicators that stuck out in the most recent statistics. We not only have June stats, but we also have Q2 stats that will be on sfmarketintel.com. So these are some of for Miami-Dade, single-family home sales are up in comparison to the last year in the Q2. And then when you look at condo sales, this is 600K and up condo sales. When you compare it to pre-COVID, they're up 99%. So let me go through Broward County. Here's a look at Broward County, single-family home sales in comparison to last quarter. Again, another look at condo sales. And here's Palm Beach County. A similar story here. This is 1 million and up single-family home sales are up year over year. And the condo sales, again, seeing that 600 to 1 million price range. So Katherine, let me go back to Miami-Dade. I know there's a lot of talk there in the condo market, and we're going to see when we get down to the June numbers, there are a decline year over year for the condo market, but that's a lot probably do with the inventory. But wanted to ask you if you compare the condo market to the last normal year, right? 2019, 600 in case home sales. I think this number doesn't really get picked up a lot, but 99%. But what's your take now on the state of the condo market?
It's still very healthy. Personally, you mentioned about comparing the numbers to 2019 pre-COVID. I personally don't compare anything to what I call the COVID years. They weren't normal years. I'd like to say we had the perfect storm. Ultra low interest rates to stimulate the economy, mixed with massive demand. If you remember, we were one of the few states that remained open, so everybody was just wanting to come here. Thankfully, our economy thrived. All that mixed with low inventory, especially in the single family sector, ended up forcing all these buyers to turn to condos, and we had that boom. If you remember, I love looking at numbers. If you remember, we had at one point years ago over a 2-year condo supply in inventory on the market. By December of 2019, we had 12.6 months supply of inventory, and this is in Miami-Dade County, which was still a huge win from where we were. Fast forward to today, I believe we're at the average, I think a little over 6 months, which technically that is starting to lean towards a buyer's market, but compared to where we were, we still have very, very healthy levels of inventory.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff there. Yes. So we're going to talk about that, how the market is shifting to, how you said, a buyer's market, from a seller's to a buyer's market. So let me, I
But
don't
I
think I
want to
mentioned.
point
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
again, these are average Miami-Dade stats. When you are working, because I know a lot of you focus hyper locally on certain markets, you have to pull up stats for those specific markets because it could be higher in some, it could be much lower in others.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's where the realtor really becomes successful, is owning your niche, your market, your neighborhood. All right. Okay, so Catherine, here's another hot topic, always has been mortgage rates. Mortgage rate seems to be sticking around the high sixes, close to the seven. But this is from our chief economist. She says she expects sub seven rates by the end of 2024 and sub 6% rates by the end of 2025. What are you hearing from buyers on mortgage rates, and how is that impacting the market?
Well, first I want to say I love this chart. I have one similar that I use a lot and I'm constantly dropping it in the office chat, and I encourage all the agents to use it when the subject of interest rates come up, because that is something of concern today with buyers, that everybody either wants to wait or they're not sure and they're stuck on those 3, 4, 5% from the past, and they're just seeing how much more they are paying. However, when you pull this out, you have to remember what happened to the economy to get to those low rates. Hopefully, we never see those ultra low rates, because we have to be in a very bad economic state in order to obtain them. So if you look at these charts, you see how much higher they were. And then right before they crashed, they were around that 6, 7%. I remember when my parents purchased their home, they were ecstatic because they purchased at a 7%, which was unheard of at the time. I don't have a crystal ball, but I definitely agree with Gay. I do see them dipping a little bit, hopefully by the end of the year. However, buyers need to remember they need to purchase when it's right for them. You can always refinance an interest rate. You can do nothing on the home purchase. If they wait another 6 months or a year, they're going to be paying essentially more, because we're still in a very healthy real estate market here where it's appreciating year over year. It's not appreciating at the 30, 40% we've seen, but it's still appreciating at a great rate. And that's something that you're not going to be able to do anything about.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it made me think of our chairman-elect, Eddie Blanco, had a great quote in one of the recent articles that had come out, and he said it's hard to time the market. It's almost foolish to try to time it.
It is. Everyone always thinks that they are never buying at the right time because all you see is either rates going up or the prices going up. But then 5, 10 years down the line, you look back and you realize it was the perfect time to buy. Most of the time, unless things like COVID happen or other factors where you have just a mass increase in the appreciation, it's a waiting game. You truly see the gains in real estate over time.
Exactly. Over time, yes. All right, so now that we talked about mortgage rates, is it time for realtors to get creative? Some of these programs were popular back in the day. Are you utilizing these more often? Are you seeing these more often today?
So a lot of the buyers, I'm working with one right now, and they are buying down points. A lot of the agents in the office are also getting creative. That this is why buyer consultations are so important, so you can get a really good economic picture, financial picture of the buyers. And then if you have it with the lender, even better. Especially if they have a good down payment, fantastic. But right now we're in a market where we're able to get credits again. We're able to get credits that can then be used towards buying down those interest rates. So I think I checked this morning and it was like at 7.3 the interest rates. Um, However, with the buyer that I'm currently working with, I managed to get them a 4% seller concession, which they're going to be using towards buying down that interest rate. And they're going to end up with about a 5.9 interest rate, which makes a huge difference at the end of the day in their payment, and it makes them very happy. So that's when you want to make sure you're partnering up with a good lender. Know the max concessions in, each type of loan because you don't want to exceed them. And maybe before bringing it up, talk to the lender, have them check exactly how much it is to buy down the points so you have that figure. Keep in mind it could change, but at least you have an idea. And then you can use that and present it either in offers, trying to get them those concessions, and of course, presenting the idea over to the buyers if they haven't already had that conversation with the lender.
Wow, I love that. I love that story from 7% to 5.9%. And you talked about how the buyer consultation is so important. That's I think that's awesome. Great job. Okay, so let's talk about some of our market fundamentals. Catherine, you mentioned it at the top. What makes Miami different from a New York and LA and Chicago? Well, you got to look at our population gains, international migration for sure. New companies moving here. Let's take a look. Here's a look at our projected population. This is from the Florida Office of Economic and Demographic Research. Catherine, these are the future buyers of South Florida real estate, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You always want to see where the money's coming from. We've always been impacted greatly by the international market, of course, and whatever. And it's good to also keep a pulse and see what's going on in all the different countries, especially in Central and South America, because when you notice a lot of times if there's uncertainty in one country, we get an influx of money from there. But as I mentioned before, we're huge economic hubs. We've had so many companies coming and establishing roots here. And they bring along with them talent, the job openings, their current employees, and all that talent has been coming down, which has greatly, of course, impacted um, our real estate market because, of course, they all need to find new homes.
Yeah, no, I love it. And then here's the graphic to back that up. I mean, Goldman Sachs is here, Citadel, Apollo, Founders Fund. Look at all these companies that have moved down here. And then you talked about the immigration, Catherine. Take a look at this. This is amazing. This is from the U.S. Census Bureau. Miami is number one, but look at Broward as number four. Combine Miami, Dade, and Broward. That is an incredible number of international migration, and that's exactly why we're getting all these countries from different, wanting to purchase here.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Plus, I mean, Miami has several nicknames, the Magic City, but we also have the nickname the Gateway to the Americas. We are very popular in the international market as far as all the international immigration establishing businesses here because businesses and our thrive in our economy. As I mentioned, we're the gateway to the Americas. Very easily, you can access Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and of course, Europe through our cruise port, which is one of the biggest, our international airports. And we're so multicultural rich that we are always looking to just expand to new horizons. We're just a huge hub for everything, crypto and all types of different companies and talent.
Yeah, no, I love it. All right, so we talked about the companies moving here. What about the top feeder states? This is another question that we get. What states are moving down here? And then you look at all the different metrics. So this one is driver license exchanges. So when you move to a new state, you have X amount of days to change your license plate. So that's how we could track down Miami. Actually, our chief economist went to the Florida State, and was able to look at what states are moving down here. And it's in not just here, but when you look at other states, other data, it's New York, California, and of course New Jersey. Those top three states moving down here is. Do you continue to see that those top three states, and what are you seeing out there in the market?
Yeah, no, I absolutely continue to see that. A lot of Northeasterners. I have seen several from the Midwest, California. Um, This is definitely statistics that you want to use for your business. If you don't follow Gay, follow her on LinkedIn. She posts a lot of great information. And then also that website that Chris mentioned before, there's a lot of great stats on there. You can use this towards your business, towards your marketing by either if you are looking to target ads online, you can do very targeted ads to specific states, specific regions, whether it's through Google pay-per-click, leading them to your website, or YouTube. I mean, YouTube has become a huge success for a lot of realtors. I know an agent that I'm friends with, and she's actually over in Texas, and her YouTube channel generates about $1 million in sales every month for her because of the traffic that she has. And she uses Google Ads to drive traffic over to her YouTube channel. Google owns YouTube, so you can actually do ads. So whenever you put in anything in Google, you'll notice that videos pop up now. So one of her videos are the ones that are constantly popping up, and she has a lot of, I mean, she has a wealth of information on there. So they just go through all her videos, and eventually that does lead to conversations and potential buyers reaching out to her.
Wow, amazing! You said 1 million a month?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was really shocked when she mentioned that, but she's been doing this for a while.
Yeah,
But yeah, and she's very proud of it. But that's fantastic.
that's amazing. Wow. Okay. All right, so let's move along and talk about Miami luxury. I think for a long time we have done it here. It was just 1 million and up is luxury, but that's no longer the case. We mentioned again our chief economist, Gay Crorotone. She did the work, and you can see here that what is luxury in Miami? Well, that's $2 million condo, and that's a $2.7 million single family. What is ultra luxury? That's the top 1%. Ultra luxury in Miami is 6 million for a condo and then 7.3 million in for a single family. But it's amazing. It's that wealth migration, right? That's really changed our luxury market, right, Catherine?
No, it's absolutely just mind-blowing. It's crazy because I read this article the other day that was stating how billionaires are outpricing millionaires. And the thing is, you have I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Miami has become expensive, especially if you were raised here and you've seen how everything has appreciated, and especially at such a rapid rate over the past couple of years. But we're still a great buy for a lot of these other buyers that are coming from these other states. For example, a New Yorker comes over here. I mean, $1 million gets you a student apartment in Times Square. That's crazy. $1 million. They come here, and depending on where you go, whether it's Miami, Broward, West Palm, could get you still a very nice, spacious condo versus a studio, or, a home, if a nice house with a little bit of land, if you go a little bit more north. So the money does still go a longer way here compared to other areas in the US and the world.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you talk about mind-blowing statistic. Here's another one that is incredible and really shows the power of our association. Our 60,000 members transactions, 68 billion in real estate transactions the last 2 years. That's 2022 and 2023. And this is for residential and commercial. But that's just a mind-boggling number, really shows the power of our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of money out there, a lot of business up for grabs. It takes grit and your determination to go out and get it. It's about having your business plan, marketing plan in place, prospecting, and it's out there for grabs. You just have to really want it.
Right. It's about putting in the work. And then, okay, so let's have a little fun here. This is our 2023 Miami Global Report. We're getting ready to start our 2024 Global Report, but just wanted to see who on the chat knows their Miami Global trivia. Do you know what is the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? If you know, if you could type it into the chat, we'll see who's the first one that knows that country. Number two, how many total countries purchase real estate in South Florida? And number three, what percentage of Florida global real estate sales are made in South Florida? We'll see in the chat which of you guys can get these correct. All right. Next up, median sale price. This is an important statistic. Want to first go back to 2023. This is for all of 2023. Miami ranked number one in the US for price appreciation, 6% year over year. And you could see the cities that trailed us, but Miami was number one last year. And this is one of the metrics that really sets us apart from a lot of major markets. And we continue to get that price appreciation. Single family up 5.5%, condos at 0.5. Let me go through these other counties. Catherine, here's Broward. You got the same story, price appreciation in Broward and Palm Beach. Catherine, on the Miami-Dade price appreciation, single family, of course, continues to increase. Condos are now at 0.5%. What is your take there on the median price? You know, we're seeing the condo inventory increasing. Could that have an impact there on the median price in the future?
Yes and no, but I want to see how the next, I would say, year or two affect the condo market. I think we're starting to see a lot more inventory also because of the assessments that are being taken place, due to Surfside. Now legislation has been passed. They want all the condos to be fully funded. So in order to get to that 10% reserves that they're looking for, which most of them didn't have any, they're getting assessed. And then you have the older condos also that are reaching their 40 years recertification, or they have to do the 10 after those 40. There's that other assessment. So you tend to see a little bit more inventory when assessments are coming up because, of course, sellers tend to want to get out before that happens. And a lot of times you do see a dip in prices because they do become harder to sell, because the buyer a lot of times is going to have to either undertake those assessments, but even if, let's say, the seller's willing to pay them beforehand, you still have to deal with the type of work that's being done. It could be not having a balcony for a year or the pool being remodeled. So I would love to see maybe the stats on older building versus the newer ones, and the price gains and inventory between the two.
That's a great, yeah, it's a great question. You could try to look that up. Oh, those are great. That's a great analysis there on the condo market. So let me, okay, so let's take a wide look. Going back to 1994, you could see the price gains, but really amazing how we thought the top of the market, the peak was in 2007, and you could see how much prices have increased. Incredible price appreciation in Miami. And then take a look at Broward. You could see the same, especially on the single family side. And then here's Palm Beach, dating back to 2008. But these are three counties so strong in terms of price appreciation.
Oh, absolutely. Like I mentioned before, we have it all. I mean, culturally diverse, the culinary scene, the nightlife, the beaches, the weather, and it's a great lifestyle that we have here. But then other things that we have to keep in mind also is moving forward. There's low inventory now, but we also have those land constraints. We have the ocean on one side, the Everglades on the other. So there's only so much that we're going to be able to continue building, especially with single family homes. Everything that you notice is being built now is vertical to meet that demand, that inventory demand that we need right now. So that's only going to fuel more our market in the future. You're going to continue seeing strong appreciation year over year. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but that's my take on it. And with the economy that we have, there's just no indicators at the moment to foresee anything going down.
Yeah, no, and that's great. And this is a great segue to this graphic in terms of, yes, inventory has been increasing month after month, but it's still below the historical average, just like you said. So that backs it up. And this was another point that you mentioned earlier in terms of the bang for your buck. This compares Miami to Paris, LA, New York. Look how much more you get for your money in Miami. And this will be a great graphic, right, to show to international buyers, or right, Catherine?
Yeah, absolutely, to international buyers, or even when you're going to a listing presentation, just because a lot of times sellers want a higher price than, what it's really worth, but a lot of times they're also nervous on how they're going to move the property. Showing this gives them a little bit peace of mind because they do see the the value that we have, especially that we're such a huge international market. Another thing I wanted to mention that you can take if you're going on listing presentations is I know it's on the Miami Realtors website. It's a sheet that shows all the partnerships we have worldwide. We have over, I believe it's 280, right, Chris?
260.
Okay,
You're
260.
close, yeah.
I'm sure 280 soon.
Yeah.
But, it shows all the partnerships we have with other countries, other MLSs, which right now it's 260. That's something you can take and show and say, look, your listing's going to appear, and all these markets are going to have access to it. That's powerful, and I'm sure a lot of the agents out there are not showing that. And that's very powerful considering that we have so much international business coming here. And
Yeah, no,
sellers know that.
that's a great point. Yeah. Okay, so another question that we tend to get on this webinar is, hey, prices continue to go up year after year. Is this going to be another 2008? Are we going to, and Catherine, how would you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, we heard that a lot, especially I would say, or like 2002, 2000, not 2002, 2022, 2023. Just because the media, we all know they sensationalize everything. Bad news always sells more. And we kept seeing headlines, oh, next bubble's about to burst. And it was a little, I mean, concerning how fast everything was appreciating. But again, you have to go back and look at the economic indicators that caused this. We had great economy. We had very low inventory. We had huge demand. There were bidding wars. And then if you take a look at how the buyers were purchasing these homes, there was a lot of cash. There were certain sectors that even had 50% cash sales. Those are obviously not going to go under. Loan requirements, because of the crash, there's so many strict loan requirements that came into place where they truly do check your credit, your financial statements, where the money is coming from. And most of the time you are seeing high down payments, especially in the bidding wars that we saw during 2020 and 2022, even beginning of 2023. And my heart went out to a lot of buyers that didn't have that much cash to put down, but the ones that had the stronger down payments were usually the ones that got selected because in the other agent's minds or the seller's mind, they seemed like the stronger offer because they were coming in with more skin in the game.
Uh-huh.
Which, of course, then if you're putting in a high down payment or it's cash, you're going to have all this equity in your home. So even if there is a dip tomorrow, let's say a 10% dip in home prices, I don't foresee it, but just hypothetically speaking, most homeowners are still going to have a good amount of equity in their homes.
Yeah, there's a lot of equity out there. And no, you made some great points. And in terms of price appreciation, it's not growing, a couple of years ago, it was at 20% single family home year over year price appreciation. But as we just showed, single families at 5% and condos at 0.5. So it's a more normal, healthier.
Stable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it was just completely unsustainable.
Yeah. All right, Catherine. So let's talk about why buy a home now. These are some of the reasons I put down. Anything you'd like to add to this list to help all the realtors out there?
As I mentioned, and I know the public hears this a lot whenever it's, oh, another agent just saying the best time to buy is now, but it truly is. As I mentioned before, whenever you buy, you never really feel it's the best time until years after that you realize you got a great interest rate. You got it at a great price because we are steadily appreciating. Even for international buyers that are coming in, not only do they take advantage of the appreciation, but most countries, the dollar is strong and it keeps going up. So they're purchasing with dollars. So not only are they gaining the appreciation, they're also gaining that appreciation in the dollars that they converted. So it's a double win for that international market also.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and then I hadn't thought about that. That's great. Okay, so let's move over to closed sales. Again, these are official stats from the South Miami Realtors SEF MLS. So year over year, they are down 13% total sales, and you could take a look at single family and also condos are down. Let's look over at Broward, down 18% for total properties. Palm Beach, so similar trend lines for our three counties here. But similar to what you said earlier, is that it's hard to compare. These are year over year to 2023, but it's hard to compare when the interest rates are have changed, right? That it's better to look at pre-COVID, like you said earlier.
Right. And then the lack of inventory also just there's so many homeowners that refinance during COVID and have a, 2.5, 2.6, 3%, or just under 4. And they just don't want to let go of their properties. It's made a lot of sense for a lot of owners if they're looking to purchase a property to rent it out, their existing property, instead of selling it and rebuying. So that's obviously attributed to the lack of inventory, but over time, things become better. People do eventually sell. So we're going to start seeing the market move. We are starting to see more inventory, which not a ton, but more inventory, which is great for buyers because now they have a little bit more options. And it's also eased a bit that stress on them, and it's made it more competitive. You're able to, again, negotiate certain things with sellers that were just not possible before, ask for concessions. So I feel like we're in a healthier state. Wanted to mention one thing regarding the slide before on why buy now. Sorry, I'm going
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Um, One thing I also want to point out, obviously the long-term gains, but when you're talking to investors, I know a lot of investors now are also finding hard deals, right? Because they're always looking for a deal or they're looking for a high cap rate because I get it all the time. The agent's coming, where can I get a 10% cap rate? That's what my investor wants. But a lot it takes a lot of research. Sometimes you can't find it, and especially in today's market, but you are going to get that over time. It's like, right, let's say you purchased in 2018 and you had a 5% cap rate. Right now, you probably have at least a 10, 15 cap rate, which is phenomenal. So investors also have to look at the long-term gains and the future, and knowing, excuse me, knowing the appreciation trends of the market is going to help you give those projections when you're speaking with them.
Ah, yes, that's great. Taking a look at the long term, the long view. Excellent. Okay. So let's move over. You had mentioned earlier about how, it's great to know about the county stats, but how a realtor really makes or becomes successful is knowing your market, your zip code, your neighborhood, your block, And so this was a great tip from one of our great leaders, Natasha Tello. Use Market Watch on Matrix. This allows you to see what's happening in your market in the last 7 days. Catherine, do you use this? And this could be a game changer, right, for our realtors out there.
No, absolutely. Along with Market Watch, I would also have them do hot sheets.
Mm,
So if they farm not, because as I mentioned before, I know a lot of you are hyper local, but sometimes you farm a couple different areas. You can set up hot sheets for those different areas. And you can go back as far as 7 days or set it for 24 hours, and then you can see all these amazing stats. That way you have an active pulse on the market because you never know who you're going to meet tomorrow, and everybody loves to talk about real estate. So it's great for you to already have all that information in your pocket. Because the more knowledgeable and quicker you are to respond, the more knowledgeable you're going to seem to that other person.
yeah, no, that's perfect. Excellent. Okay. What are other ways to leverage the micro data? Are you guys using SunStats? That is a free Miami service. You get that on the Miami Gateway. Are you using our zip code reports? I mentioned we're releasing our second quarter 2024 reports on sfmarketintel.com. That has every single zip code in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, Martin County. So you could go down to every single zip code. You also have every single city. That's on sfmarketintel.com. And there's also RPR. Are you using that? This is an example of a report that you could pull on RPR free, included with your membership. Here's a look at SunStats. I literally could, they have a infographic creator, and you could create this in 2 minutes. Actually, less than that. You just choose your metrics and look at
I'm
that.
a
That's
huge fan
yeah.
of stats.
What's that?
I'm a huge fan of sunsets. I think you know that. I mentioned it before also. Huge fan. Like every time I'm doing reports, especially for the office or even when I'm meeting with people, you can get so many different stats and set up charts that you can take with you. I mean, in minutes. It's fantastic. And you can go back years also. And then if you're one of those that wants social media content, Chris has it right here. You can create all these great charts and brand them with your information. And I'm sure a lot of you, this chart over on the right looks familiar because I think a lot of us know keeping current matters. And they try to sell you on their membership. And one of them is personalizing these great stats along with other emails, but you can actually obtain all this information for free. It's one of the benefits for being a Florida realtor and a Miami realtor.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love SunStats too. Actually, a lot of the charts that I have in this PowerPoint are from SunStats, and I remember SunStats. I think it was launched a couple of years ago. Definitely, again, I use it every single day. I love it. Yeah. All right, new pending sales, best indicator of future closed sales. You're going to see similar trend lines across the board. Again, these are just being released to the media today. Actually, you guys are getting them first, and you can see the pending sales are down Miami-Dade. Also, total sales pending are down. You can see Broward single family are up, and in Palm Beach pending sales are down as well. Let's move over to dollar volume, sum of all sale prices in a given time period. Catherine, this chart always it boggles my mind. So you're talking about in 1 month, and this is just existing. This is not doesn't even include new construction, right? 2 billion spent in Miami-Dade, 1.4 billion in Broward, about 2 billion in Palm Beach. This industry is incredible. The power of it.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're in one of the best industries out there, in my personal opinion. Just the sheer force of it and all the money that is out there, as I mentioned before, for grabs. Um, we're a very unique market. If you compare it to the rest of the US, you're not going to find sectors that have 2 billion in sales. It's just most of them don't exist. So you really have to take advantage of, I mean, just the wonderful market and areas that we live in.
Yeah, no, I mean, excellent. 100%. So let's take a look at months of supply. And so here at the association, other people might have different ways to measure what is a balanced market, but the association We have always done 6 to 9 months is the bounce market. So less than 6 is a seller's market, more than 9 is a buyer's market. And what we've talked with, and what we're seeing in the market is that we're seeing a transition now from from a seller's market to balance and actually going into the buyer's side. And this is an example of how you could create it. We mentioned how Realtor is successful knowing your neighborhood, and this is how you could do it for your specific market. You will have this when, just again, if you could type your email in the chat, and I will send you this PowerPoint so you could review it. Catherine, let me go through the 3 counties here. These are interesting stats here because these are changing. Months of supply for Miami-Dade is 6.9 months overall, but you can see single families in the seller's market. Condo market is now, according to our metrics, it's a balanced market, but we are very close to 9 months on the condo side. And then take a look at Broward. You could see how, again, the market is shifting now to more of a balance and actually buyers. But what is your take, Catherine, when you look at this? You mentioned earlier, it's good news, right? There's more options for buyers.
There's more options, it's making it more competitive, and it's easing some of the stress, especially on buyers, especially the ones that maybe need a little bit of seller concessions, and it's helping also during the inspection period, because that's really the period where you never know what can pop up, what issues the house can have. And it's making negotiations for concessions during that time a lot easier. However, you're still seeing a big discrepancy between the single family and condo market. I don't see the single family market. I I would see it go up a bit more, but I don't see it going into a full-blown buyer's market for quite a bit, quite a bit. There's just not enough inventory um to be able to get to those numbers yet.
Yeah, no, 100% I agree on single family. There's no land, right? I mean,
There's
especially,
no land. Like
yeah,
in Miami-Dade County, the land right now being developed is down in Homestead, because that was one of the few pieces of land left, and it's mostly townhouses that are coming up. In Broward, North Broward, you're seeing some construction. There's a piece of land over by Davie that they are building single family homes, but those are starting at about 1.2. The rest is out east. And it's again townhomes. Of course, you're seeing all the condo buildings, but as I mentioned before, most of the new construction that we're going to start seeing is going to be vertical. It's the only way to really satisfy the demand of inventory.
yeah, no. So it's definitely, yeah, it's a tale of two markets. It's single family and condos. It's almost they have different storylines. All right, so let's take a look at 1 million and above. Shout out to SunStats. I got this from SunStats. And as you can see, a month of supply is 12 months, but this is normal for 1 million and above, right, Catherine? These properties take a while to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. Before, nobody would ever take a listing agreement under 12 months for anything over 1 million, because they tend to be unique. I would say now that $1 million price point would go up. But these properties tend to be very unique. You need to focus more on marketing, getting the word out there, marketing internationally, domestically, networking with other agents. They're not as easier to sell as the cookie cutter single family homes at lower price points.
Exactly. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at Miami-Dade months of supply by price point, different price buckets, and you could see how when you look at different price ranges, it shifts from a buyer's market. Overall, we're in a buyer's almost balanced market on the condo side, but it differs. For instance, 1 million and up condos, that is at 12.2 months. I'm sorry, 15.6 months. So that's definitely a buyer's market there. So you could really look at the different price ranges, Catherine, and how that could shape your buyer consultation, right?
Right. And then the million and more, also, you have to really look at how that specific building is is performing, because you could have an older building that has a million, that's priced at a million or more, and then we have all the new construction that a lot of it has been already delivered in the past couple of years, but a lot of those units are now in the resale market, so that's also contributing to more inventory in that condo market section.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, let's talk about some hot markets. These are new graphics that our design team, our award-winning design team put together. And you could see this is based on months of supply. Miami Gardens is the hottest single family market. And Kendall is #1 for condos. Let me go through, here's a look at Broward. Cooper City's #1 for single family. Miramar for condos. And here's a look at Palm Beach. Boynton Beach ranks #1 as single family, lowest months of supply, in Palm Beach Gardens for condo. Catherine, when I go back, I know Miami-Dade, you focus there. Any of these markets that stand out that you're seeing out there that really are hot and in demand?
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me that those are the top five. The median sales price in Miami-Dade as a whole is in, I think, the high 600s. All of these are in the high 400s, so there's a big price difference. Miami Gardens, Princeton, Hialeah, you have the advantage. They're very centrally located, especially Hialeah. You're right by some of the major highways. You're very close to, if you want to go to downtown, the beach and Wynwood. It's very, very central. And you have the land, you have the areas where you're not bound to an association. And a lot of buyers like that. They like not being tied to the rules of the association. And that's what you mostly find in Miami Gardens, Princeton, Hialeah, Cutler Bay. Depending on the area, you're going to get a lot of areas without association. But then you have the newer areas with association. Same with Homestead. But you get a much more bang for your buck as you go down south.
Yeah, no, I love that analysis. Yeah, I mean, median, these are affordable and you're not bound by associated. That's great. I think that's a great job to sum it up there.
And
Active inventory, how many listings? Number of active listings at the end of the month. Again, we are releasing this to the media today. You guys are getting it first. And you could see it is significantly up year over year. But the question is how does this compare to pre-COVID? And we still have a way to go in terms of that. But nevertheless, this is what we've wanted to see for a couple of years, right, Catherine? That we want to get this inventory up.
no, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm happy to see also sellers are, because everybody was having such a hard time at the beginning of this year, end of last year, because they were still in that mentality of your neighbor would sell, you would wait for them to sell so you can get that comp. They would sell overpriced, and then you would hike up your price 10% and you would still sell. So a lot of them were still with that mentality, thinking they can overprice it and the buyers would pay it. And we're not in that era anymore. But so it's made me happy to see that sellers have come down a bit from that mentality. Sometimes it does take a month or two of the house being on the market for them to realize it's not going to move. And then you're seeing those big price reductions, but it doesn't mean the market's going down. You hear that a lot from the media or when you're speaking to the public. Oh, I see the prices are coming down, because all they see is on, let's say, Zillow or Realtor.com, price reduction 30 grand, price reduction 50 grand. But what really counts at the end of the day are the closed sales. And if you're seeing the closed sales, they're not going down.
Yeah, no, I mean that's super interesting point there on the buyer waiting for the comp to come in. I think that's great. Uh, Great stuff right there. Okay, so let's try to sum up what we've talked about so far. Inventory is still, below historic average. The rates, we talked about it. Our chief economist says they will be falling definitely next year. She also forecasts sales to rise by the end of the year. Of course, price appreciation continues to be the story in our market. All right, so global study. Let's see who got the first question correct, which is what is the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? let's see. I will go to the chat. We'll see.
I think Vanessa was the first one to put her answer.
Yes, you're right. And she got it correct. Vanessa Osorio, thank you for your uh, answer there. Colombia and actually Maria Andrea, also Colombia, right at the same time. So you guys definitely know your stuff. Julianne, great job. Yes, Colombia, number one. And they also, let me go back here. Colombia is also the top country searching. So they're the top search, number one for searching and number one for buying. And how many total countries purchased real estate in South Florida? It's 52. I don't know if anybody got that one correct. This was a tough one. 50. Oh, actually, Maria Andrea, she got Colombia and she got 52. All right, great job on that. What percentage of Florida global real estate sales are made in South Florida? It's 47%. This is a great stat to remember. And Catherine, what stands out to me is look at second place. Look how far away second
Mhm.
place is. Really shows you how unique and how special our global is here in South Florida, right?
Absolutely. And it goes back to we're one of the largest multicultural epicenters in the world. We're a huge multicultural hub. There's so many first generation families coming over, and it always helps the transition when you can feel something of home here. No matter where you're coming from, I think you can always find some of your culture somewhere in South Florida because we are so diverse here. And it's truly what makes us so special.
Yes. And I don't know if you watch soccer, but I thought the recent Copa America game between Colombia and Argentina, the amount of fans that were there, that game could only be held in Miami, and you could see how much emotion and the diversity that you talk about, right? That it was an amazing thing to see.
Absolutely. I mean, I lost my voice. I'm Colombian, so I was definitely watching and screaming at the TV at my phone.
Yeah. Well, it was a great game. Um, But let's see. Okay, so let's go over tools and resources. You know, SunStats is going to be here. Of course, SunStats is number one. This is a must. I think a must use for Miami realtors to be using SunStats. It is free. Use that. We have co-branded marketing materials. Again, that's free, and that's on our website / co-brand. And you have top 20 reasons to buy, top ranking market. We try to update those every single year. And we have Miami Photo File, which is also free for Miami members. And this is our design team creates these templates, and then all you have to do is customize them. You can see Arlene, she's putting in her headshot, her information, her company logo. So many members are taking advantage, so you should as well. We have comprehensive market reports. This is what you're going to see on sfmarketintel.com. We have market focus infographics. We have videos. You're going to see those on our social. We have every single zip code and every single city report. That's on sfmarketintel.com. RPR we talked about. You have a question on any of our products. These are the people who could help you. Our Miami trainers. All right, Catherine, let's talk about cross-market demand. So this is what states, actually what counties are looking at our listings. Realtor.com puts this together and really is interesting. Of course, it's New York and Atlanta area and Cook County, but you mentioned earlier about how you could use social media, and a great example from using YouTube and using Google Ads.
Yeah,
What about
so
referrals? Working in referrals in these counties.
So I was just going to touch on that. In addition, so you really need to keep, as I mentioned, keep track of where the money is coming from, not just which state, but specifically like what counties, because then you can really target those if you're looking to do any type of online targeted ads. Now, you can also really build a thriving referral business by not just targeting the buyers, but also targeting the agents. Look into Depending on what companies you're with, a lot of times they host conferences. Whenever you travel, even if it's not work related, try and see how you can maximize the trip to help your business. Find who are the movers and shakers in the areas, the big brokerages, pass by, have coffee with them. You'd be surprised how receptive they are when somebody from Florida calls, have a conversation. You could start establishing referral business that way. The best business is referral business because they are less likely to ghost you, to go with another agent, because you tend to not refer business to somebody that might make you look bad. So if you establish a strong relationship with another agent, they're going to be your cheerleaders in all these other states. The same if you are looking to maybe expand internationally, try looking at different conferences that you can go to, but educate yourself first and know your stats here. So when you're speaking about our market, you are giving correct information. What are the driving factors? What makes Miami so special? And average price points. New construction is very big internationally. So always have a plan whenever you travel. That way you can execute properly. I have several friends that have thriving referral business, and half their business comes from referrals from other agents in other countries and other states in the US.
Wow, that's excellent. And I love that tagline. Best business is referral business. So that's a great job. I think we've helped a lot of people today. I also want to mention a great comment here in the chat. Shelly Rose said, "I'm sorry I had to leave early. Thank you, Chris and Catherine, as always, very informative." And she looks forward to the PowerPoint. But thank you to everybody who has been on this entire webinar. We're getting towards the end here. Here's a look at Broward County. Like I said, no surprise, New York all over this list. They are looking at our properties. You have Atlanta looking, and then take a look at Palm Beach. Palm Beach is interesting because how many New York counties are here? I think all of them. They love Palm Beach County. So that's a great data point to look at. And so here is my email, chrisandmymarie.com. And here's a look at our social media pages. Catherine, a phenomenal job. I think a lot of great stories and a lot of tips. Any last points for the realtors out there that wanted to say?
Well, keep a pulse on the market, know your stat, but also know all the different resources that are available to you. You should never feel lost or feel like, I don't know where to get something. There's always someone to call, whether it's from the association or one of the leaders or somebody in your company that can point you in the right direction or send you the correct information. There's also subscribe to the YouTube channel. All these get recorded. There will be on there. And then also Miami Realtors Live also has a wealth of information. If you want to learn some other products and services and you don't want to wait for one of the classes, you can search and see if it's available on there.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you, Catherine. It was a fun webinar. I learned, I wrote down a lot of notes. Thank you. Yeah,
It's always
once
a
again.
fun webinar with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody. It looks like almost everybody stuck on for the whole thing. So I really appreciate everybody. And I will be sending the PowerPoint to all the email addresses. And once again, thank you guys, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you.